What's up, Pawn family? It's Yigal. I hope you like that countdown. I want to talk to you guys about something that came to my mind this morning as I was talking to somebody else. And and I think it's crucial that we talk about it. I think it's crucial that we all have a conversation about this because sometimes I like to vent. Sometimes I like to say what's on my mind, and sometimes it's not popular opinion, right? But at the same time, I think it's crucial to be able to help the pawn industry to be able to find out exactly what's going on. So if you can hear me, let me know. Drop a comment or let me know that you can hear me and see me so I can see who's here. Also, if you want to start a watch party, that'd be awesome. Just to get more pawnbrokers to be able to learn together. If you do want to do watch party into groups or into your own personal page, and I'll show you guys how to do that later on. So it's cool. Just hit share and you can go to watch party. So I want to talk about stop complaining and start creating. So many people these days are just nonstop complaining about their circumstances, about what's happening, about what things cost, about how something doesn't work. And instead of just complaining, think about the other side, which is creating, right? I'm stuck at home. I've got my two daughters here, my wife, and things are very, very different. You guys are in the stores, but I'm being creative. And I'm trying to make it so that my daughters have fun, so that my clients are having fun and learning. So I'm helping the pawn industry as much as possible. But I can't do that if I'm consistently complaining, right? I can't do that if I'm in this mode of complaint, complaint, complaint. And all I'm thinking about right now is how do I create more? How do I do more? How do I serve more? And that's what leadership is all about. If you're not serving your community, you are just either complaining or trying to sell, which is a great thing, but you also want to create for them. You want to lead them. So a couple of ideas that we had last week on one of the mastermind calls was, what if you created a live streaming show like this and interviewed local businesses where you become the hero of your town? You become the leader in your town, so people always keep you on their radar. People always know that you're there, so that when they need you monetarily, they know how to find you. So that when they need, money because their check didn't show up, they had to furlough employees, whatever that was, they can think about like, wait a second, I saw this guy interviewing some people. He's got a pawn shop. Let me think about checking him out. Because a lot of times as we're just complaining, it's taking up all of our mind. It's taking up all of our focus, all of our creativity, all of our hours of the day is just complaining. And one comment that I want to make sure that, and I hope that you guys aren't doing this, is if you're still running your business the same way that you were running it before COVID-19 hit, you're making a very, very big mistake. If you're running your business and you're still thinking like, I just don't have time, I'm so busy, I can't get to do everything, you're just complaining. How can you create a more streamlined business? How can you create a more powerful pawn shop? How can you create a better culture and team? How can you create better marketing? How can you create a better strategy so that you don't go through what you went through before? Now, if you think that this is, if you think that what I'm saying is sounding true to you, let me know in the comments below. Give me a comment so I can know that you can hear me, that you agree with me. And I want to tell you guys a quick story. When my wife was in bed for 7 months, when she was pregnant with our second daughter, Yael, I could have complained a lot. I could have said like, well, my wife's not around and it's just too much. I'm taking care of my daughter and I'm taking her to school and I still have to work and I still have to create and I've got to cook and I've got to do this, I've got to do all that type of stuff. Or I flipped the switches, which is what I did, and I started creating. I started creating more time for myself to exercise, more time for myself to generate more income, more resources for the mastermind. I created an idea of Pawn Leaders 100. I created with the podcast. I created the Facebook group. I just kept on creating so that I couldn't complain. Because complaining does you no good. especially when you're in the role as a leader. Complaining does you no good, especially when you are a parent, a spouse. Because all you're doing when you're complaining is just giving off that negative energy to other people. And what happens is that they get negative too. So if you walk into your store and you're complaining, you're giving off that negative energy to your staff and your team. And it gives them permission to complain all the time. Right? Now, there's having strategic conversation and saying, like, hey, this isn't working, we need to do X, Y, and Z. But I think that most of you are complaining. And let me know if that's the case. Let me know if the case is that you're complaining, or if the case is that you're just strategically having conversations, in your business. But please stop complaining. If you don't like something, pick up the phone and be like, hey, man, I don't like what's going on here. This is ridiculous. What can we do? Right? Have that courageous conversation instead of complaining. People say that God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth in that order, right? To be able to listen, process, strategize with things, as opposed to always complaining and always complaining and always complaining. So I want to hear from you guys right now. First of all, where are you joining me from? So I know who's listening. And I'd love to have somebody jump on the call. Also, if you want to jump on the call, Bob, great to see you, my friend. And so Bob says both, love it. And so make sure, like, when you get up in the morning, make sure for you to do this intentionally. Think to yourself, like, hey, I'm going to try not to complain today, right? And see how many times you catch yourself complaining. See how many times you catch yourself having a negative attitude. Yes, the world is tough. What's up, Joe? Thanks for joining us. Yes, the world is tough and things are different and it's not the norm, but we're blessed to be open. We're blessed to work hard. We're blessed to have an income stream coming in. And so I challenge you to not complain the rest of the day. Try the rest of the day. And for some of you, it's going to be easier because you're on the East Coast. But it does nothing to complain. Pawnbrokers are infamous for complaining a lot, for negotiating too much, and for not taking action. And that's the truth. And I know this, and I can say this. Why? Because 3rd generation pawnbroker speaking right here. 17 years or 16 years of opening having my own stores. I used to complain when money would come through the door. What I mean by that is, the customers, I've seen in so many groups, people complain about the customers. Yeah, is it fun? Is it a joke? And all that type of stuff. Yeah, but when you do that, you allow your team to complain. You give them permission, right? And so we have to lead. What's up, Billy? Thanks for joining us. We have to lead. And part of that leadership is creating and not complaining. Part of that leadership is being consistent at what you promised you were going to do, right? So my challenge to you is for the rest of the day, or if you want to do a 24-hour challenge, and if you're up for the challenge, just put a Y in the comments. And my challenge to you is don't complain for 24 hours or for the rest of the day. And see how hard it is. See how challenging, and catch yourself. How many times are you complaining? How many times are you actually complaining instead of creating? That time that you're sitting there complaining about something, you could sit down, watch one of the live videos, go back and listen to a podcast, learn something new, do something on your to-do list, as opposed to those complaints. So, who's up for the challenge? Let me know. If you're up for the challenge, if you're watching the replay, you can also answer yes to the challenge. Pat is in the challenge. Love it, Pat. Up for the challenge. So what we'll do is I'll go live tomorrow and we'll check in about this time around 1 o'clock tomorrow to find out how the challenge went for you. And also be creative. Today I woke up early. I was up by 5:45 with my daughters. They decided to wake up early today. And we created some awesome videos of us doing like this challenge course I created for them. Right? You've got to be creative. You've got to, if you have negative in your mind, if you've got negativity in your mind, think about this, right? If you have a glass of water that's pure, right? It's just clear glass of water, and you get some black food coloring, and you drop 2 drops of food coloring, what happens? What happens is that it makes the glass of water cloudy and harder to see through. And that's exactly what happens when you complain and when you're negative within your business. When you complain and negative, you dropping drops of food coloring, you might be able to drink it. It's still safe. You might still kind of see through it, but it's cloudy, it's unfocused. And that's exactly what you are doing to your team and to those around you when you keep on complaining. So if you're up for the challenge, write a Y. With that, I'm going to take off to a meeting. Great to see you guys, Bob, Joe, Billy, Raphael, Pat. Thanks for joining me live, guys. For those of you who are watching on the replay, just write a yes if you're up for the challenge, and we'll hold you accountable to getting it done. Have an incredible day, and we'll talk to you guys soon.